Everyone, Crewcaster here, and today I want to talk about food in Tower of Fantasy. Kind of like the importance of it, how you can make it, and what are the best options for you when making this food. So first off, with the importance of this food is the satiety bar or the hunger bar. So you can actually check where this is at right next to your health and level with this circle here, and then tells you a number out of 100. So filling this bar actually is beneficial to you because it is the way to heal outside of combat automatically. So after you exit battle for 5 seconds, your satiety starts to drop automatically to restore HP. For every 10% HP restored, you lose a point, and then also a point will be deducted every 5 minutes. So start dropping, so you need to eat more food. But the higher your bar is, the faster the HP regeneration speed. So to 1 to 30, it's 2% every 2 seconds. From 31 to 60, it's 3.5% every 2. And then 61 to 100, it's 5% every 2 seconds. However, if you don't have anything in this bar, then you will not be able to restore HP automatically. You can still use spells from different support units to heal yourself, but you won't get it automatically outside of combat. So it's much more active if you don't have any satiety. But now the question is, how do you get this food or get the ingredients to make this food? Well, you can actually get it by exploring the open world. So there's fish in the rivers that you can grab and just interact with. There's items on the ground, such as this lettuce over here that shines, and you just interact with that as well. Basically, a whole bunch of different items across the map. But going back over to where I was, there is this cooking station, which you can kind of tell by it jumping around and have this like smiley face on it. But for these cooking stations, you can basically kind of find them anywhere on the map, mostly in like towns like the Astra Shelter or the port over here, but most of the time you can find them next to fast travel points as well. Let's actually get into how you use these cooking stations. So you just go up to interact with it and it brings you this menu. I'm going to hide myself here so you can see the menus better, but on the left-hand side, this is all of your recipes. On the right-hand side is what the recipes do for you, but also what ingredients that you need. But these recipes can range from a whole bunch of different things, things that can heal you, but also ones that can give you different buffs as well, such as resistances to certain elements, also increases your damage for certain elements too. How do you get all of these different recipes? Well, sometimes they're handed out during side quests, but the main way is this creation button down here. This allows you to discover different recipes by putting in certain combinations of food and increases your success rate for how many food you actually put in up to 15. As you may have already guessed, this system is pretty much trial and error trying to find the different recipes. So I'll put a link down in the description for you guys if you want to just look up the different recipes. But to just show an example of how this actually works, there's a recipe that I do not have called spicy eel, which requires one eel like this. But this only has a 7% chance of actually being discovered. So I want to pump it up with more items. So you might be thinking, well, it only takes the one eel, so maybe if I just put more eels in here, then, I can get up to the 100%. Sure, you can do that, but this is a more rare item, so I don't want to do that. You can actually pump it up with an item that is easily obtainable, which is this water. So if I put that up to 15, that brings it up to 100%, and if I press this cooking button down here, it should discover the spicy eel recipe. And there it is. So now if I go back to my cooking menu, it should show this recipe right here. So this actually only costs one eel every time, like I said, and now it is 100% guarantee if I just use one eel to cook it every time. I'll just press the cooking button, and then it'll cook it for me. But I can create multiple at the same time as well, up to how many I have. So that's all there really is to it, to this cooking in Tower of Fantasy. So that water recipe method pretty much works for every recipe, trying to discover it. And it kind of just lowers the ingredient costs when you actually have the recipe. Where do you actually get that water? Well, you go to like any food vendor in major areas, and you just view their shop, and this carbonated water is at the bottom. Be aware though that you do have a daily limit of 99 for this water. So you can only use this so much in a day, but it shouldn't be too bad if you just check in from day to day or just use the ingredients for that recipe. But now I wanted to give some of my recommendations for some of the more efficient or better foods in the game. Going back to the cooking station, there's a few options. So for the first item, just to like regenerate your hunger bar, is this whole grain bread. So for this, you just need 2 homey grain, which you can find in Astra and the Bangus region, and is super easy to find. So this is really great way to just fill your hunger bar if you need to. But then for a beginner's healing item, we have dandelion mushroom soup, which can be easily created with just 1 dandelion seed and 2 mushrooms. These dandelion seeds you can get all the time from doing the dandelions exploration points, and then the mushrooms can just be found all over the Astra Crown region, pretty much every region because of different exploration points as well. And for these next 2 foods, these are really easy to make healing items that give you 15% plus 20,000 HP, which are kind of for mid tier, but also can be used in endgame as well, because they're super easy to make in comparison to the endgame stuff. But for the first one here, steamed egg with sea urchin, which requires 2 sea urchins and 2 eggs. These eggs can be found on a whole bunch of different high places all over the map. And these sea urchins actually can be found on the coasts of the Crown region and the Bangus region as well. But then there's a second item that does pretty much the same thing, is the boiled scallops. This requires 3 lettuce, which you can find all over the Astra region. And then the scallops you can find along the coast of the Bangus region as well. You can kind of knock these out both at the same time, and they're super easy for that extra healing. But then for, in my opinion, the best healing item in the game is Snow Lotus Soup. This heals you for 20% of your max HP plus 60,000. But instead of Satiety, it also regenerates your endurance, which is that green bar that shows up when you're climbing or using aerial attacks. This is also super cheap to make because it only requires 1 Snow Lotus, which you can find in the Warren region or the Snow region in the north, and then it only requires 2 honey, which is dropped by bees, and also their beehives, which you can find all over Astra and the Bangus region. So this is very amazing for a super cheap cost. What about the best foods that buff your character? So for this account, I haven't quite unlocked all those recipes yet, but there's an amazing page just to show all of the details for that. So first off, if you want to buff to your bolt damage, you make purple yam pie, which you can make with 1 purple yam found in the snow region and 3 brown rice, which can kind of be found in several different regions. And then if you wanted to increase your physical attack, you need 1 black truffle, also in the Warren region, which is most of these purple items, to be honest, 1 onion, and 2 rice, which these can be purchased. And then for flame attack, we have steak with sauce, which requires 1 prime cut and 3 fire caps. And then finally for ice attack, this only requires 1 lake bass, but from what I've seen, fish is kind of difficult to get. But also among these purple items, there's some for resistances as well. I'll put the link down in the description for this page, like I said before. But there's also another resource that is great to use, which is an interactive map. So for this map, you can actually click on the different food items that you're searching for. So say like Snow Lotus, it shows many different locations of where they could be at. So you can just click as many as you want. So maybe I want to look for the purple yams as well, or maybe the truffles, the honey. So that's going to show up over here, etc., etc. That's pretty much it for the best food items in the game. If you're looking for some free ones, though, where it basically requires no effort, you can actually get some from Enfi here, which is on Cetus Island once you unlock it. So you just talk to her, and then you view her store, and it's these Cetus souvenirs, which all do the same thing, which is regenerate 5 satiety, and also give you 15% plus 20,000 HP. They only cost 1 amusement ticket, which only requires you to go on the rides on this Cetus Island. So the roller coaster, for instance, or the fastest one that I've seen is this carousel, which only takes like a few seconds. Then you can also find these vending machines, which are scattered across the map, and there's at least 3 on this Cetus Island. Just go to them and search through them, and they should give you a single soda. There's 2 examples of these sodas that I have found, which is the ice strawberry soda here, which gives flame resistance, and then there is the blueberry soda, which gives bolt resistance. That is all I have on this cooking in Tower Fantasy, though. If you guys found this video helpful in any way, please consider subscribing to the channel for more Tower of Fantasy content like this. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.